North of the border has always been better known for sports with skates than sports with cleats. But someone forgot to tell these guys. Toronto makes their first ever stop in St. Louis, having won 9 of 11. Tonight, Matt Morris will try to tame one of the Major League's best offenses. Blue Jays Cardinals interleague play begins next on Fox Sports Net. Matt Morris, on his regular rest, will be on the mound tonight, trying to get the Cardinals off to the right start during interleague play. We hope the rain stays away. They say it will. And here at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis, it's the first of a 3-game set. The Toronto Blue Jays are in St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. And welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck along with Al Raboski. And Al, this is going to be a fun year, in my opinion, for interleague play with the Cardinals taking on the AL East. The Blue Jays are in town, and while everybody's been talking about Boston and the Yankees and those series up in the Northeast, you got to pay attention to Toronto now because they are absolutely red hot.
They really are. They won 21 games in the month of May. They knocked 9.5 games off the schedule. They're 2 games behind Boston and trailing, or 2 games behind the Yankees, and Boston's right there too. But this is a ball club that's playing very, very good, scoring a lot of runs. You said their offense is great. 292 is the team average.
Yeah, they lead the American League in runs scored. Let's talk about the Cardinals side and about their offense, in particular Tino Martinez. I would think that Tino and the Cardinals have to look at this 2-week stretch against the AL East as a chance for Tino to get his legs under him and see some of his old friends try to get some hits against this group.
Well, probably the best thing is he'll probably see a few pitchers that he's a little familiar with. Escobar was a closer when he was in the American League. He'll be starting tonight, but I think the familiarity will be beneficial to him. But really, we really have no other choice. Nobody else Tony can plug in there is going to play well enough on a day in and day out basis, and he still believes in Tino.
On the other side, their first baseman's pretty good. Carlos Delgado absolutely can rake. Right now, he's got to be the leading MVP candidate in the AL. He leads Major League Baseball in RBIs.
Here at Busch Stadium, expected a very cool evening for baseball as the Cardinals begin their interleague portion of their schedule. And welcome back to Cardinals baseball here on Fox Sports Net. First pitch just around the corner. This is the start of the interleague schedule for the St. Louis Cardinals. Toronto here tonight. Then they've got Baltimore over the weekend. And then after that, it's off to Boston and New York. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the American League East and find out where the Blue Jays stand. Right now, they are the talk of the American League. They're only 2 games out. They've won 9 of 11. 21 wins in May, the most in franchise history. In a just completed series with Boston, they scored 34 runs. At the top, it's the Yankees this afternoon. They named Derek Jeter their 11th captain in team history. Boston a game and a half out there at Pittsburgh. Byung-Hyun Kim going for the Red Sox. Baltimore's 4.5 games out. They are a hot team as well, 8-2 in their last 10 games. Meanwhile, in the National League Central, it's Chicago. The Cubbies still on top. They play host to Tampa Bay, who's 11.5 games out in the American League East. Then you have Houston a game out. They play host to Baltimore. St. Louis 2 games out. Escobar and Morris here tonight. And then you've got Cincinnati 3.5 games out. The Pirates 6 and Milwaukee 8.5. Cincinnati still on pace, by the way, to set the strikeout record in all of Major League Baseball. We'll take another timeout. Don't go anywhere. Interleague play begins here tonight. Game 1 between the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. And it's right here on Fox Sports Net. Joe and Al with the call when we come back.
Sportsnet brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals. By Auto Tire. For straight talk and the lowest bottom line price, you ought to go to Auto Tire. By Pennzoil, protection for the way you drive. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. And by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. Let's look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays. Reed Johnson leads it off, then Frank Catalanotto bats second. Vernon Wells hits third. Carlos Delgado off to an all-world start, cleans up. Greg Myers, he's been around a long time. He does the catching. Orlando Hudson, Howie Clark, Chris Woodward, And Kelvin Escobar pitching and batting ninth. Around the Horn brought to you by Auto Tire. Tino Martinez is at first base. Miguel Cairo another start at second base. Scott Rowland off bobblehead Dow Day 2 days ago at third. Edgar Renteria off the game-winning hit day 2 days ago is at short. Albert Pujols in left. Jim Edmonds in center. And a lot of people around the league starting to talk about J.D. Drew, the way he's swinging the bat. Mike Matheny does the catching, and half of our Chrysler starting pitching matchup is Matthew Morris.
Well, Matt Morris doing an excellent job. 6 wins. He got a no decision last time out. Won 5 of his last 6. Club high 13th start, 8th at home. He's allowed 19 earned runs in his last 11 starts. That's an ERA just above 2. Enters play today with National League leader both innings pitched and complete games.
Carlos Tosca is the manager for the Toronto Blue Jays. He had a nice visit with Mike before tonight's game. They were awfully chummy, laughing and giggling and carrying on.
Well, you know, he never played in professional baseball. From South Florida. Matter of fact, he had Edgar Renteria in the Florida Marlins organization. Carlos had him about his Renteria's first 3 years in pro ball, and I think he taught him very well.
So with Tosca watching from the dugout, the Toronto Blue Jays send Reed Johnson to the plate. This is kind of a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid night. Who are these guys? As the first pitch dipped low for ball 1. Reed Johnson off to a 3-10 start. Home run, 4 RBIs. They've got a good outfielder named Shannon Stewart, who's out with a bad hamstring, not in their lineup, and a guy who had a terrific year last year, Eric Hinsky, their third baseman, is injured.
Yeah, he's got the surgery on the hook of the hymate, hand injury.
2 balls and a strike. 61 degrees, Al Raboski, at the start of the night, so we'll be in the 50s before the end of the week.
This is March.
Well, this is crazy.
This is St. Louis summer weather, June weather.
It is hard to believe as that one's in on the hands. Long run. Edgar's the only guy you can get there, and he does. Nice play, 1 out. This might help explain who these guys are. You look at a comparison. This is major league offensive rankings. Look at the Blue Jays. First in hits, RBIs. They have the individual leader in Delgado. First in on base percentage, and second in batting average and slugging percentage.
Now, the most important one is their first in runs, because that's where it all.
That's kind of the name of the game.
It all begins and ends there, doesn't it?
Get more runs than the other guys. They're going to be in a good spot. And these Blue Jays are 6 games over the 500 mark at 32 and 26. Here's a good hitter, Catalinato.
There's Delgado, even better one.
Frank hitting 325. We've seen him when the Detroit Tigers were in town a few years ago. He's been with Texas. He's with Toronto. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Frank gets a good look at that Matt Morris curveball and just clunks one to get a piece. And Tony La Russa is going to try to make a play with his hat. Never got to him.
And I was asking Carlos Tosca about Chris Carpenter, the Cardinals starter that is still preparing for his debut in 2003.
Another one off the hands. This one Roland has the only shot at, and he can't make the play. Foul ball. But trying a basket catch over the shoulder, he couldn't come up with it.
Sure, they won't give him an error on this one, but it wasn't the basket catch necessarily by demand, and an exceptional play right here, and there is no error charged.
Makes you think of Jeff Kent the other night making 2 of those plays out in right center field. That's not an easy task to run with your back to the infield and catch a ball over your shoulder, unless you got number 88 on your back and you play for the St. Louis Rams. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I was asking Blue Jay manager.
This one's easy. Shallow center. Cairo, 2 out.
About Chris Carpenter, who the Cardinals signed, knew he was going to have the shoulder problems, and he kind of gave me a scouting report. The more he talked about it, I thought he was talking about Matt Morris, which I said everybody talks about he has great stuff, and if you kind of compare him to Matt Morris, I think we're all in agreement. He did say that he has that great curveball, doesn't have the command of his fastball that Matt does, but still everybody's excited when he will be joining the ball club.
And so then that begs the question, as Wells chops one to Renteria, nice easy hop in 5 seconds or less. When is Carpenter coming back? Your answer when we come back. Think about it. No score after a half. The Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals as they take on Kelvim Escobar. Miguel Cairo leads it off. J.D. Drew bats second. Albert Pujols, player of the month, hitting third. Jim Edmonds in center. Then Roland, Renteria, Martinez, Matheny, and Matt Morris. Round the horn, brought to you by Auto Tire. Delgado is the first baseman. Hudson is at second. Across the way, it of course is Howie Clark. The shortstop is Chris Woodward. Out of the outfield, Frank Catalanato. Vernon Wells is in center. And Reed Johnson, the leadoff hitter's in right. The catcher is Greg Myers, and he's been around for a long time. And Kelvim Escobar, the other half of the Chrysler pitching matchup.
Well, he's only making his fourth start. He was the closer until St. Louis and Cliff Polite is supplanting him there. Had 38 saves a year ago. Real hard thrower, power thrower, sliders to right-handed batters, and a split finger to the lefties. But you really got to make sure he throws strikes. He's got nasty stuff, but he has a tendency to be a little wild.
Well, we just saw 96 miles per hour, and now a little flare on a breaking ball. And out to make the catch is the second baseman Hudson for the first out, as Hudson had to go a long way to corral that. One away, and J.D. Drew will be the hitter.
Good to see J.D. playing on a more consistent basis,
especially with those numbers.
And what he's done, yes, you're right about that. 4-game hitting streak, 7 for his last 17, and 2 home runs during that time. Last 10, even better, 3 home runs.
Bottom fell out of that pitch. Nasty delivery from Escobar. Strike one.
That's that fork ball splitter.
Now a strike falls in. 0-2.
See his 58 saves, 1 game under 500. This is only his 4th start, 2-2. He's a potential free agent, so he likes it better being in the rotation.
Drew strikes out on 3 pitches. Didn't see a fastball. 2 out. Don't forget about Father's Day. Give Dad what he really wants, a subscription to Cardinals Game Day magazine. Sign up now and Dad will be set to receive the upcoming issue featuring Scott Rowland. To subscribe, call 314-982-7336. Here's Pujols. We mentioned that the Blue Jays come in 6 games over the 500 mark. The Cardinals are only 1 over.
And Joe, they're only playing 500 baseball at home. So you see the National League leader, Albert Pujols, for that 364 average.
A chopper to third. That will stay fair. Out at first, and Pujols hurt himself. Pujols has injured himself at the end of this play. No score after 1. A little awkward at first base as Pujols tried to beat the throw from the third baseman Howie Clark on that chopper up the third baseline. Initially you think hamstring when he ends up limping past the bag, but that replay shows it was the left ankle that he rolled over right there, highlighted, and then immediately turned and told Mark O'Neill and Tony La Russa to stay in the dugout, that he was fine. So that's good news. Pujols is okay. As you get another look, watch the left foot and ankle slide off the edge of the bag, but Pujols is okay. He continues. He's out in left field. And Carlos Delgado, a ball and a strike, and we need to talk about how good this guy is.
Oh, very good. And it was him coming across the bag to take that throw in foul territory that kind of got Albert out of the line. But Delgado 16 home runs, 57 RBIs, and he's right up there in that ops category. Slugging and on-base percentage combined.
Wow. Take a bite out of this, says Mr. Morris, and Carlos will take a seat. That's 4 straight retired by Matt.
Matt Morris just goes right after him. Good to see Matt. Matt appears that he's on top of his game. Last 2 times out, one of them was a shutout. He was not quite the way Matt normally throws.
That was the Pittsburgh game, wasn't it?
Pittsburgh was his 2nd consecutive shutout, which he didn't have his good stuff. But he has learned how to pitch when he doesn't have his good stuff.
The Cardinals did not use the off day to get extra rest for Matt Morris. As you can see, a little mist falling here at Busch Stadium in that shot of Tony La Russa. That's foul, strike 2, and look out over on the left side. And Matt, boy, every time to the post, this guy, whether he's got his great stuff or not, as you're talking about, Al, he is good for innings and good for a lot of pitches.
Yeah, he leads the league in innings pitched now. 4 complete games.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Kind of looks like he's going back as you see his record. 30 games over 500, not bad.
The thing about Matt, though, physically, you wouldn't put him in the category of a horse, meaning one of those big-bodied, big lower half of the body drive with like a Roger Clemens or even an Andy Bennis. I mean, he was a big-bodied pitcher. As that ball is hit into center field off the bat of Myers on the 3-2 pitch, 2 out. Yet he's acting like one, giving the Cardinals a long effort every time he takes the ball.
I think he's, well conditioned. He's on a mission. He's married now and settling in to be more responsibilities, and he's doing the same with his team.
They're going up there ripping. That ball's pretty well hit down the left field line, but it's foul. Strike 1 on Orlando Hudson.
You find these American League clubs, they don't hang around too often. They just go up there whacking.
Pretty good combination of Morris and Escobar.
Gentlemen got some culture exchange.
Oh, no 1-1. That's high and tight. Albert Pujols tossed that guy the foul ball. There are the numbers for Hudson. And really, you have to go into the media guide and start digging around to find out more about these players. And Orlando Hudson's on that list. Howie Clark on deck is on that list. Chris Woodward. The 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and a strike. And that's no knock on them. It's just a young team that really is playing well, and because they play in Toronto, they don't get the national coverage that a lot of these teams get. So you really have to do some digging to get the right research as to who Carlos Tosca's running out there in his lineup.
Yeah, well, I think the one thing is they enjoy playing for Carlos, and he's got them playing hard.
Full count. Matt looks like he's got pretty good zip on the ball.
Yes, he does. Looks like he got a little of that life back, and watch his mannerisms, just how quick he gets the ball and throws it. Kind of tells you how he feels about his game.
Good pitch on 3-2. And the strikeout is the 2nd of the inning for Morris. Well, Matt's on. Early indications pretty good on Escobar as well. Heart of the order coming up for the Cards. No score. Bottom of the 2nd, no score, no base runners yet. It'll be Edmonds, Roland, and Renteria. You can email the booth at foxsports.com, keyword Cardinals booth. You could do it, and I could read your emails, which I've already started doing, except I got kicked offline because my wife got online back in our house. So I don't know what to do. Somebody call my wife and tell her to turn the computer off back at our house. Otherwise, we can't talk. And I don't like being disconnected from the public, or my peeps, as I like to call them. That's to the 2nd baseman, Orlando Hudson. It says on my list that's who that is. 1 out. What do you think, Al? Record-setting time tonight?
Well, we got a chance, but One of the interesting things, Tony would tell you, that Escobar is one of those guys that will really throw a lot of pitches, but so far he's been very efficient.
Here's Roland. Scott is standing in, the club leader in RBIs. He's hitting .294 with 45 driven in. He should be familiar with Escobar, playing in the NL East. It's the way we used to do interleague play, NL East, AL East. Then the next year it was NL East, AL East, and the next year was NL East, AL East.
Except for the fact that the guys that have seen Escobar are used to seeing him at the end of a ball game in the closer's role.
Now he's a starter. Roland's 0 for 3 in his career against Escobar as a 1-1 pitch is fouled out of play. We've seen a 91-mile-an-hour pitch. We've seen Escobar throw it as hard as 98. He's got that fork ball that he throws up there. You can see why. As he enters free agency, he is going to cash in. On 1-2.
Joe, I still think the premier free agents will get a lot of money, but I do think that there will be some sanity, and certain guys will get it, but not everybody.
There is a pretty big list of free agents coming up this year. That's a foul ball, says the third base umpire, Wally Bell. It includes Gary Sheffield.
Well, at one time, as you see this foul ball, very easy for Wally Bell to make that call. Of course, that's not Wally Bell over at third.
Wally looks like he's out at second, maybe?
Yeah, saying second. Yeah, that's one of the younger ones.
Roland strikes out, 2 out. I hope that's Wally Bell at second and we have imposters down. That's
there
Wally.
He is, yeah.
So the rotation isn't right on the list we were given. There's Kerwin.
So that's Welke, I think.
Bill Welke at third base.
Or no, you know what it is? Probably it's Rob Drake, and they didn't change the rotation yet.
That's high for ball 1 to Renteria. Well, goodness knows that people want to know, and they want to know an answer, and they want to know it now. So we'll dig around, we'll do some investigative reporting and come back with the answer. Shattered bat in the hole. That's Woodward, and he shows off a good arm, as does Escobar, as has Morris. That bat no good. We go to the third inning. Matty Moe back to the hill, no score.
League is here, and that means interleague play is here for the St. Louis Cardinals, and this is game 1 of this 3-game set, and we get the chance to visit with Randy Carricker of KTRS Radio. You can hear him nightly between 9 and midnight on the Big 550. Number one, are you a fan of interleague play?
No, if they would balance the schedule, I'd be more of a fan, Dan. But the way things are set up now, Houston gets to play Tampa Bay. The Cardinals have to play these guys. I don't think it's fair that the Cardinals have to play a tougher schedule. I agree with George Steinbrenner.
We always talk about marquee matchups and individuals. A couple of MVP candidates going here tonight, Albert Pujols and Carlos Delgado.
If I was going to vote today, I'd take Pujols from the Cardinals, obviously, and Delgado. You look at the numbers. I don't think there's anybody close in the American League. If he keeps this up, he's far and away the MVP in the American League.
Your thoughts on the Cardinals start so far?
Under the circumstances, I think what we've seen is fine. They'll be better. You get Isringhausen back, you get everybody healthy. This team should win the division and might even do so going away.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Randy Carricker of KTRS. Back to Joe.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Randall. 2-0 the count on Howie Clark. Each pitcher has been perfect through the first 2. It'll be Clark, Woodward, and Escobar for Toronto. The schedule is not balanced for interleague baseball. There are different numbers of teams in each division, and while the Astros play the Devil Rays, the Cardinals will take on the Royals. So at some point you have to beat these teams, and that's a base hit. First of the night. I like just getting a chance to see different teams as opposed to the AL Central year after year. This to me, and I know we're going to do a promo. Let's hold off 1 second. This to me, Al Raboski, I've been looking forward to this stretch of the schedule since the season began. And I think we'll be talking when the season winds down of the days the Cardinals spent against the AL East, especially at Fenway and at Yankee Stadium.
Absolutely. It's a thrill for ball players to have an opportunity to play in those storied ballparks. And I mean, you're always auditioning Busch Stadium in the city of St. Louis for prospective free agents.
So with a man on and nobody out, Chris Woodward, the number 8 hitter, is at the plate and he takes a strike. We're going to tell you about AMC Theater's action photo night coming up when we get our first chance. Howie Clark is on with a base hit and hit it sharply through the right side. That's on the inside corner, kind of a floater. Let that change up. 0-2. 74 miles an hour.
Sometimes he doesn't get on top of that breaking ball and kind of backs up a little bit, but anything that's off speed is a benefit.
On 0-2. Defensive swing by Woodward. The Blue Jays used to feature Alex Gonzalez at shortstop. He now plays short for the Chicago Cubs and has done a nice job since moving over to the National League. On 0-2. Breaking ball was a hanger and it is ripped down into the corner, and Pujols goes to dig it out. It's a double and it's second and third, nobody out. So here's a chance for the Blue Jays, even with Escobar coming up, to grab the lead for this hard throwing right-hander.
Well, it is that hanging breaking ball right there. He does a good job to get on top of it. Line drive over the head of Rowland down in the left field. So as good as Matt was in innings 1 and 2, you just wonder if he relaxed a little bit here with the 7, 8, and 9 coming up. Can't do that.
Tell you, that pitch was so bad, I'm surprised that it was hit.
Yeah, that was you see a lot of guys pop that up.
Escobar now takes a strike.
Obviously this is a disadvantage when you bring the American League teams to a National League city and their pitchers have to hit. You can always find a DH in their cities, but
good luck.
Escobar is 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts.
I'm marking him down for 0 for 9 with 6 after that wave at that curveball.
Well, I'm telling you, you should be right.
Yeah, bye. 1 out and back to the top of the order. Let's tell you about AMC Theater's action photo night. It's this Wednesday, 7:10 game. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive an 8x10 action photo of Scott Rowland and a coupon for free popcorn at AMC Theaters. Wednesday, June 4th, the Cards and the Blue Jays. That's this Wednesday, 421-2400. Or log on to stlcardinals.com for tickets. Scott Rowland was touched with the public response by the fans at Scott Rowland Bobblehead Doll Day here at the ballpark, as Reed Johnson looks at a breaking ball for a strike.
Well, I think they even had 8 buses from his hometown of Jasper, Indiana, that made the trip here to get the bobbleheads.
A little different than performing in front of the Veterans Stadium crowd where he did for years with the Phillies.
We're going to have another one later on.
That will put the Blue Jays on the board. Great play by Renteria for the second out of the inning. Fantastic play. RBI ground out. Over to third is Woodward with 2 down.
Now Renteria, Gold Glove Award winner, Silver Slugger recipient, picked that up on Sunday, and ball was hit well up the middle, reaches down, spins and throws, and there's a lot of shortstops wouldn't even get a glove on this, let alone execute the throw. So all in one motion right there, but the Blue Jays get on the scoreboard 1-0.
A run on 2 hits, a runner at third, 2 out. Here's Catalanato. He takes a good fastball for a strike. Some action from the bottom of the order for Toronto. The Cardinals' bottom of the order will have their chances at Escobar in the bottom of the inning. Ball and a strike. With a runner at third, 2 out, the 1-1 pitch. Catalanato rips one off Morris. Cairo, can he make a play? No. 2-0. In to score is Woodward on an infield base hit by Catalanato, and if it didn't hit Morris, it was going up the middle for a base hit.
31st RBI for Catalanato, and right back, it went off his glove, I think, but hit so sharply. Nice play by Cairo, but just a little bit tardy. Right there off the glove, deflects over towards Cairo, and just that, you really have to have a stiff wrist if you're going to try and throw an underhand that way, or otherwise you get that little blooper. Cairo doing a nice job filling in for Vigna, but he's told me he needed that day off. First 5 games were fine, but the next 2 were really hard on his body.
1 on, 2 out. 2 runs home, and Vernon Wells takes a strike. I'm sure his body was saying, hey, Miguel, what's going on here?
Well, that's what happens. You know, when you're a bench player, you can go out there for a short period of time, but it'll catch up to you.
That's grounded outside third. No balls, 2 strikes.
Joey went from hitting .350 in the first 5 games filling in for Vigna down to .233 in 7.
Interesting story from the Cubs game, if I want to believe what I'm reading here on email. Maybe we'll have the guys check it down in the truck. The guys and the girls check it down in the truck as Wells hits it off Roland's glove into left field for another hit, and these guys are hanging one line drive out after another. But I have a couple of different emails, and we'll wait on it. But if you guys in the truck can find out any news on the Sammy Sosa at bat at Wrigley Field, do so, and we'll pass it on. But I don't want to. It's nothing. It's no illness or nothing serious other than something on the field. So don't be concerned if we hear something about it. I'll bring it up, but otherwise I'm not going to float rumors. As Delgado steps in with 2 on, 2 out. Runners on at first and second, and here is the Major League's #1 RBI man, Carlos Delgado. Either way, I'll pass it on, so I'm not going to leave you hanging on it. But
you see those 57 RBIs. Out to a great start, and we just passed the 1/3 mark.
Good pitch in on the hands, and that'll stay in the park. J.D. Drew wants it, has it, and the inning is over. But the Blue Jays come up with 2. 2 runs, 4 hits, a couple left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, bottom of the order coming up. 2-0 Toronto. Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Subway. Try one of Subway's Chicken International subs on new gourmet bread. Subway, eat fresh, and by Aflac. Ask about it at work. I can't pass on the email, and it was probably unfair for me to bring it up and then leave you hanging, but Darren from South Bend, Indiana, alerted us to the fact as Toronto leads 2-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Escobar deals to Tino. It's low. His email said, keep an eye on the ticker. The Cubs had a run removed from the scoreboard in the 1st due to Sammy Sosa's bat exploding. Corking is being discussed by the Cubs announcer. And then good pickup by Darren in South Bend. He said, by the way, Billy Hatcher is at Wrigley Field tonight coaching first for the D-Rays. He's one of the last big guys to get nailed for a cork bat. And we called, Doug Stanton in our truck called and found out that indeed that is the case, that Sammy Sosa's bat had cork in it. They took the run off the board. They ejected Sammy Sosa from the game. Tim McClellan, the umpire who did it, he's the crew chief. That's hammered foul. And McClellan was the same umpire who was the recipient of that running charge from George Brett at Yankee Stadium when they called him out. Took a home run off the board because there was pine tar down lower on the bat than it should have been, or higher on the bat up toward the barrel. The 2-2 pitch, and Martinez is gone on that nasty pitch. 1 out here, and that's strikeout number 3 for Escobar.
You can see if he gets a couple strikes on you and you're left-handed, you get that fork ball, and it's a nasty one. You throw more sliders to right-handed batters, and he has a lot of life on his fastball.
Well, that'll be interesting to track what
Yes,
they do
it
with
will.
Sammy
It's
Sosa.
usually an automatic 10-day suspension.
Then you open up that whole argument in that Pandora's box about the 500 home runs and the home run chase. And
Oh,
all
come
that.
on. This is the first time he's ever used that
First
bat.
time. He
First
just happened
time.
to get nailed.
Just happened.
1 out, nobody on. So we thank Darren in South Bend, no doubt an Irish fan, as a Michigan guy's at the plate, for sending in that email. We can't keep track of it all where we sit here and continue to talk. No balls, 2 strikes on Matheny, and the Cardinals will have their hands full tonight. That's obvious. An 0-2 pitch. 1-2 from Escobar.
Funny weather the last couple days here in St. Louis.
Brutal here yesterday. Oh, the home plate umpire did everything but ring him up. Forget the check swing. The home plate umpire almost pulled every muscle in his back.
Let's take a look at it right there. See this, that's a great illustration, that pitch right there, of what umpires are complaining about with this quiz tech, because it does not record late breaking calls.
Strikeout nonetheless. 2 up, 2 down. 4 already for Escobar in the 8 outs that he's picked up. She did it to me again, Al. And got online. I'm finished.
And
so disappointed that she's not hanging on every word that we're saying here tonight. With 2 out, Matt Morris, strike 1, 98 miles per hour.
Are you sure she's not trying to email you? Because I know she's devotedly watching this game.
Yeah. I know for a fact that she isn't. 2 out, nobody on. Escobar brings it, and Morris, flinching, takes it low.
Oh, so she's shopping online.
That's a guarantee. The Blue Jays will have Myers, Hudson, and Clark. Bottom of the order started a rally for Toronto in the top of this 3rd, getting 2 runs on 4 hits. Blue Jays changed their logo this year. Every time I see highlights with that logo on it, I think it's Texas, but it's Toronto. Goodbye. Inning over. Struck out the side. 5 on the night. We go to the 4th. Matt Morris and Kelvin Escobar hooking up tonight, and it's 2-0 Toronto after 3.
This afternoon, and the 28th player overall is Derek Barton from Marina High School out of Huntington Beach, California. He is a catcher, and Marty Meyer, who runs a draft for the Cardinals, is with us. And tell us about this young man.
Well, Derek Barton's a catcher from Marina High School, like you said, Dan. He's a guy that we've looked at all year, and a guy who's been an outstanding hitting prospect probably since he was in 10th grade. Our guys, Danny Ontiveros, who lives in Southern California, is the area scout there, has spent a lot of time seeing this guy. He knows him as well as anybody, and we feel probably knows him better. But he's a guy that we think has got a chance to be an outstanding hitter, and maybe, another Ted Simmons.
I know a lot of people always ask about signability, in particular with this draft. This young man, only 17, signability even an issue?
Well, it's always an issue when you're talking about taking a high school player who's got options to go to college. And of course, he's signed to go to Cal State Fullerton, and people think he's going to be an outstanding college guy. We think he's going to be an outstanding pro. We've done our homework, and talking to this player prior to the draft gives us every indication that we'll be able to sign him and get him out playing.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Dan.
20 rounds were completed this afternoon. Little fewer than most drafts have been, guys, but as we see a base hit for Greg Myers, primarily pitching the key for the St. Louis Cardinals outside of the catcher that was taken in their first pick.
Thanks, Dan. Good report, and good to hear from Marty Meyer. We're in the 4th inning. That means it's Aflac trivia time. Our question would be this.
Aflac!
What was the last trade between the Blue Jays and the Cardinals? I think I know. No, I don't.
No, because some of these things are free agent acquisitions, but I'm trying to think about that. Yes, I do know now. He's on our disabled list.
A foul backing out of play. So that's the only hint. Just let him think about it for a minute. He is currently on the Cardinals disabled list.
Little side note to the young man that was drafted by the Cardinals. I heard a couple of scouts that were familiar. One of them was Fregosi. Said he can hit. They're just not sure what position he can play. And also, I think later down around the 9th round, Tom Pagnozzi's brother's son was drafted by the Cardinals.
One ball, one strike. One on, nobody out. Breaking ball in for a strike to Orlando Hudson. Hudson made the final out of the top of the 2nd before the 3rd inning rolled in, and Howie Clark hit a single. Woodward a double. Still 1-2. An RBI ground out by Reed Johnson and a 2-out RBI hit. That hit Morris, went to the second baseman Cairo. Cards did all they could, but could not get an out. And it's 2-0 here in the 4th. That's a foul ball.
Pretty good hacks these guys are getting against Matty Moe. Matt slowing things down just over the bag and twisting foul. Hudson, switch hitter, he's hit in 5 of his last 7 games. 301 right, left-handed, 234 right-handed.
Now it's 2-2. So the Cardinals have the Blue Jays now. They have the Orioles over the weekend. Franchise that used to be called the Browns, St. Louis Browns. And then it's off to Boston and New York.
And Saturday is going to be.
That should be. That's easy. 2 out, nobody on.
The throwback game is Cardinal players will be wearing uniforms, I think, from 44, and Baltimore, as you take a look at the doubleheader, will be wearing uniforms from the 44 St. Louis Browns, teams that met in the World Series.
The 44 series. So that'll be on Saturday. With 2 out, nobody on, here's Howie Clark. That's a pretty good hack. Nice rip at it, but Cairo takes care of it, and after a leadoff hit, the double play ball followed, and then the ground out. Top of the order coming up, Cairo, Drew, and Pujols. Let's get it going. Cards looking for their first base runner, down by 2. 2-0. 5 hits to the Cardinals, none. The Cardinals have the top of the order coming up. Our Aflac trivia question was, what was the last trade between these two organizations, the Blue Jays and the Cardinals? And the answer, to St. Louis, Pat Henkin and Paul Spoljaric. To Toronto, Lance Painter, along with Castillo and Matt DeWitt.
Albert Castillo.
Alberto, the catcher. And then Matt DeWitt, who was one of the pitching prospects in the organization that has never taken that last jump. Top of the order, Cairo popped out his first time, takes a moving fastball for a strike.
Let's hope second time around they do a little better.
Cairo trying to get that started. Bad break as he lines it to the left fielder Catalinato. Coming up after the game on the Midwest Sports Report, we'll show you all the highlights from around interleague play tonight, including the Orioles taking on Houston, plus Jason Isringhausen's road to recovery continued today. Stay tuned and see how he looked in his latest throwing session. I won't miss that, and don't you miss Tony La Russa's live post-game comments and a complete wrap from us It's all coming up after the game on the Midwest Sports Report. Here's Drew. And there's a strike.
Well, I don't like that sign.
He was perfect the first time.
Yeah, we were supposed to beat him up the first time through the order, and then he gets really good.
Drew way out in front, 0-2.
And Cardinals were hoping that he'd have about 100 pitches by now, and very economical, just 35.
On 0-2, Drew just able to get a piece to stay alive, and I don't believe JD has seen a hittable fastball yet. He didn't in his first at bat, and he is just trying to hang in there and get a piece.
He was the first of 5 strikeouts for Escobar. Asked his manager, I said, how long will you keep him out there? He said, well, he's geared for 120 pitches.
Wait till he really rounds into shape, then he'll really have a chance to go deep into a game.
Well, I did say, well, that should be enough, and he kind of smiled and he goes, well, we've seen 150 before in like 5.
Well, that ain't the case tonight. Cardinals start the game 2 out. Tampa Bay now has a 2-0 lead at the Cubs in the bottom of the 3rd. The Cubs have this with a huge weekend coming up. They have the Devil Rays now and the Yankees over the weekend, including Fox Saturday Baseball. Roger Clemens going for win number 300 as JD Drew gets a little chopper to Escobar, 2 out. It took 8 years, Al, but we got a Fox Saturday Baseball game of the week that should be one you can't miss.
Are you going to be doing that one?
I will be there.
All right. That should be Roger Clemens going for win number 300 again.
Against Kerry Wood. And where will Sammy Sosa, a.k.a. Corky, be?
Well, Corky will be appealing.
That'll be interesting.
Or maybe he won't. He might.
Well, I guess, you think automatic appeal and you have to let due process happen and this, that, and the other. But if they took a run off the board and if there was cork found in the bat and he used it in a game, I don't know what the procedure is. I think it's, as you said earlier, automatic 10-game suspension, and you wonder if you have a chance to appeal something like that because he's already been kicked out of the game.
Yeah, I would think you would fall on deaf ears.
2 balls, no strikes on Albert Pujols with 2 out, nobody on.
I saw Ted Simmons. We were in San Diego. Teddy hit a home run, and then there's discussion right after he crossed home plate, and they took the home run away from him.
Pujols looking for the first hit of the night. Woodward throws across his body, and that should be a hit. And Pujols will end up at second base as the throw goes into the dugout. That's got to be a base hit. And for Albert, he'll add to his .362 average. It is a base hit.
Base hit.
E6.
And E6. That is a 10th error for Woodward.
Al, this is already our Nextel Direct Connect hit, the first of the night here in the 4th inning.
Well, the first hit the Cardinals come by. So, and as you say, thrown across his body on the run and complicates the situation by throwing it away. And we find him out in scoring position.
Here's Jim Edmonds. His average down to .290. One of these days, somebody's going to start to pay for this bad month, and it has been a month. Started the month right around the 400 mark, and now he's at the plate the early days of June 3rd, hitting .290.
223 in the month of May.
It's 2-0.
6 home runs, 13 RBIs for Jim. And you're right, we went on that road trip in early May when he was batting .402. But this is still how productive they've been. 3, 4, and 5 hitters. St. Louis has the highest combined average in the major leagues.
That is our Ford key matchup. here in the 4th inning. 3-0 with Rolen on deck. And now you can start to see the ball with the movement. Escobar having a tough time guiding it into the strike zone, and Edmonds has watched 3 miss by plenty. First base is open. Rolen is next. Cardinals down by 2. And that just caught the corner.
He's calling time. Get a little rosin, but clean his spikes off. Pretty much straight away. Jim Edmonds, infield and outfield.
They are deep in the outfield, especially in right. See if Edmonds can do something on a 3-1 pitch headed his way. Tying run at the plate. We're in the 4th. That's into center field. Didn't get all of it. Big swing, but caught it down toward the end, and Wells will end the inning. A hit, an error, and a man left. We go to the 5th inning. Didn't miss it by much, but still the frustration continues for Edmonds. 2-0 Toronto. Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during a Cardinal home game. Here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Mo 63177. Good luck. That's lined into right field off the bat of Woodward and into the glove of J.D. Drew. 1 out. Matt Morris smiling as he knows he got away with a pitch as Woodward went up to crunch it. Chris doubled into the left field corner on a hanging breaking ball his first time. That's off to the right.
We found out that he's a high ball hitter, didn't we?
I think he likes it up there. Whether it's spinning as a bad curveball or it's up with a fastball, he likes it. 1 ball, 1 strike. You have to believe that the scouting report for the Blue Jays had in it go after Matt Morris early in the count, because I don't think we've seen any team this season, teams that are familiar with facing Matt Morris, go after more first pitches or second pitches than these guys have.
Well, I think what happens too is he has a get ahead breaking ball.
That's what it looks like. That's the goodbye breaking ball.
That's the goodbye breaking ball. Much harder, much tighter. And there you see ahead in the count, he can put you away. But behind the count, and a lot of times early in the count, the first pitch or two, when he's trying to get ahead, it's kind of like, you know, it's more than a BP fastball, but it's not as good lights out fastball.
So with 2 out, here is Reed Johnson. He takes a strike.
You smoke cigars?
I do not.
Because El Tiante wanted to give you a cigar.
El Tiante.
Yeah, his own brand.
Where did you run into Louis Tiant?
He was at the golf tournament.
How was the golf tournament?
It was very good.
Congratulations.
I was in charge of everything but weather.
Oh, you got a bad day, but I know you got through it and had fun with a group that you brought in here. 1-1 pitch. That's to third and foul. Rolen doing all he can, but a foul ball.
How do you catch that ball?
I don't know. The crowd appreciates it. Good effort.
Yeah. You know, if you're a position player, you don't have time to check with the umpire. You just have to go after the ball as if it is a fair ball, and then let his call dictate what you do after that. Ah.
On 1 and 2, the count's 2 and 2. Obviously, you see a mask like that, you think of SARS.
Well, look at it. I guess these are jokes.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like
it's not a joking matter, but
doesn't seem like a laughing matter to me, but whatever. Full count on Reed Johnson with 2 out, nobody on. Al, to prove that somebody out there is listening to us, Don Cole in Pontiac, Illinois, says you didn't finish the Ted Simmons story. Why did he get his home run taken away?
Teddy did not know that you could not groove a bat. It used to be what guys would take bats and they would groove them and then burn rosin into them to harden it up.
Renteria. Look at Reed Johnson hustling all the way, and the inning is over. Did he come charging after the umpire?
No, he did not.
That's 2-0 halfway through it. This date in baseball history, June 3rd, 1888. Ernest Thayer's poem, Casey at the Bat, appears in the San Francisco Examiner. I had to learn Casey at the Bat in high school.
To do that in the play?
I had to recite it in front of the entire school. And now I can't remember one word of it. Except there is no joy in Mudville.
And Mighty Casey.
Mighty Casey has struck out. Scott Rowland at the plate. It's 2-0, bottom of the 5th inning. Escobar's allowed the one hit to Pujols, an infield hit. The only thing that's left the infield, or at least did on that play, was the throw by Woodward, the shortstop that went for an error. Pujols ended up at second, but Edmonds flied out in a 3-1 pitch. Now Rowland starts the inning with a clean hit, and maybe that'll be the start of something here in the 5th.
Leadoff single here through the left side. Had him played a little bit more up the middle, and so you see Woodward coming into your pitcher, diving about normal shortstop location. Choking up a little bit on this hard thrower.
Whatever it takes, and with Rowland at first and nobody out, here's Renteria. Why not? And at least pulls the third baseman in a step. That's ball 1 low from Escobar, with Tino Martinez waiting on deck. These Blue Jays are hot off a 4-game sweep at Yankee Stadium.
And about 3 in Boston before that.
They roll into town winners of 9 of their last 11. And Escobar brings a 2-2 record with him. We had an email earlier that reminds us, and I was thinking about it, never mentioned it, that the Cardinals were actually interested in Escobar.
Yes, they have been.
And they've scouted him, and they've looked at him, and I'm sure they've talked about him. But
I'd tell them to talk some more.
Yeah,
what we're seeing.
Here's a 2-0. 3-0.
Of course, Toronto right now is going to change all plans as they think they're in this thing. You know, they picked up 9.5 games in the month of May.
So while everybody's talking about the Yankees and the Red Sox, the Blue Jays have crept into the picture. A high strike from Escobar, and that call could have gone either way. The Toronto Blue Jays start the day only 2 games out behind New York. The Yankees have won only 4 of their last 10, and they have just a 1.5 game lead on Boston. The Yankees and Boston not playing well right now. 3-1 pitch. A hit, a walk, 2 on with nobody out. Well, I can't wait to head up for this. Fox Saturday Baseball returns with the Yankees taking on the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Roger Clemens goes for career win number 300. The Yankees and Cubs last met at Wrigley Field in 1938. It's the spot where years earlier than 38, Babe Ruth called his shot of Charlie Root. It all begins Saturday, 12 Central on Fox. Clemens has never pitched inside the ivy-covered walls of Wrigley Field. Going for number 300. Tino Martinez takes the ball. He's trying to become the 21st. Clemens is the 21st pitcher in the history of baseball to win 300 games.
Last one was Nolan Ryan, I think in 1990.
That's right. The guy who Clemens obviously grew up idolizing. Martinez with a base hit into right field. They are going to bring Rowland. No throw by the right fielder Reed Johnson, who looks surprised, and it's a 2-1 game on a hit by Martinez. And away Tino Martinez. 2 hits and a walk in the inning, and the lead has been cut in half.
Maritino struck out the first time, but he had a couple rips and lined the ball forcefully foul, but here he gets the RBI single. His 18th RBI.
I don't mean to cut you off, but Oquendo is a tremendous third base coach. We've said that 100 times. He was watching the way Reed Johnson went after that ball in right field. Johnson went after that ball like he didn't think Rolen was going to think about trying to score, or he was just giving him home plate. And I mean, it was like he was surprised that a guy was coming around third going to the plate to score.
Well, you know, that's one of the you think in terms of the American League, everything is station to station. There is not as aggressive play overall.
Here's Matheny with 2 on. He takes a ball. But forget about what kind of arm you have.
You know, I know.
It's how you go after the ball.
If you are aggressive and charge a ball and come up firing, you will stop a lot of third base coaches from sending that man, especially with nobody out. So don't think, just anticipate.
2 on, nobody out. Matheny at the plate. And Matheny gets a base hit. That should tie the game. Renneria coming home. It's 2-2 as the Cards break through in the 5th.
Escobar almost perfect until this inning. He only allowed 1 hit, and now 3 hits and a walk in this inning. We have a tie ball game. That is huge. Mike Matheny, who played in Toronto, didn't get a lot of playing time during part of that time, but we know how good he is and how much he'll enjoy getting that base hit. Nobody out. All right, now let's see how they play it. A lot of people here are going to try and get the lead man. So if you're the bunter, you want to bunt it hard enough to get it by the pitcher where he can't field it, where the third baseman has to come in instead of going back.
Tino, on the other hand, is trying to get every inch he can out at second base, so they'll try to keep him close.
And that's one of the ways you do that early, is you keep him close, having that shortstop. There's about 3 defensive ways to go about it. You can get the shortstop coming over to cut third, protect here. But the best way is to bunt it hard enough, pie the pitcher, make the third baseman field it.
He's trying. Mistake by the third baseman, the wild throw, and the Cardinals will take the lead.
Dave McClay's going to argue for obstruction, or interference, and say that Morris should be awarded second base as he gets tangled up with a defensive man.
Well, why did I say mistake? This ball had a shot to go foul.
It probably would have gone foul, but he comes in here, tries to make the miraculous play, almost fell down, so it took him another step or 2 to get us under control, and then he throws the ball widely. Here, what you see, Matt coming down here, Delgado kind of holds on to him there ever so slightly, and I'm sure Kerwin's saying, hey, in my just estimation, it was not intentional. He was just trying to get his balance, and I think that's the correct call.
It was actually Orlando Hudson, the second baseman, and there was very little contact. Let's watch this ball. It certainly looked up here like it was headed to the left and foul. Much easier to call from up here than down on the field. But as you said, it took the miraculous play by the third baseman to end up and just try to get an out. And he ends up throwing it wild down the line, and the Cardinals take a 3-2 lead, and there's still nobody out.
But he come charging in here. Now watch, after he fields it, he bent over so far that he had to straighten up again and get his legs underneath him, and then he makes a bad throw.
It's a good bunt. They've actually given Morris a hit. And then an error on the third baseman, second error of the game for Toronto, and it's first and third, still nobody out for the top of the order in Cairo. as the Cards have their first lead of the night. Pretty good rips now in this 5th inning by these Cardinal hitters against Escobar. See what the Cardinals want to do with runners at the corners and nobody out. There's always the chance of a squeeze play, but we'll just throw that out there as an option. Good breaking ball for a strike. It's one thing to squeeze in this type situation, but to do it against a guy who has a tough time throwing strikes and getting the ball consistently over the plate, it's probably too dangerous. And now with 2 strikes, forget it.
Yeah, that's the point. You've got to have somebody that throws strikes.
On 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And of course, that sounds a little bit odd because tonight Escobar has been so good at throwing strikes. This inning he walked his first man, but he had been very efficient up to this point.
4 singles, a walk, and an error in the inning. The Cardinals have taken advantage. Oh, 2-2. Just so you know, Toronto's in the bottom half in the American League in club defense.
I was there 46 there to here tonight. Cardinals have committed 26.
2-2 pitch. The pitch was out there to hit, and Miguel chopped it foul. Third time through the order, and that begins now with Cairo's at bat. Opponents hitting .500 against this former closer. Cardinals have not had one of those huge innings lately. And Cairo's hanging in there.
We talked about it's only his 3rd start, so still has not stretched out to the point where he goes much more than halfway through that 3rd time through the order. So he's settled on the slider.
Off the end of the bat, still 2-2. I said that they had awarded Morris a hit. They've evidently awarded Morris a sacrifice and then the error. No base hit for Morris. He is on base at first. Cardinals have still only 4 hits to the Blue Jays 5. First and third, nobody out. And another foul by Cairo's having a good at bat. The other Cardinal hit, 3 in this inning. The other Cardinal hit came from Pujols last inning.
Get the pitch count up there. See what they have in between Escobar and Polite. How about Polite, huh?
He's the closer, former Cardinal. Vianney High grad. Another good foul. Good at bat by Cairo. One of his better efforts of the year.
Because of the velocity of Escobar and sliders away, splitters. Right fielder playing. He's Miguel like he's a left-handed power hitter or a pull hitter. See where he's located.
Another 2-2 pitch. Cairo flies one into center field. Great at bat. Back to get it is Wells. Tagging and scoring easily is Matheny. Back to first Morris, and it's 4-2. Great effort, Miguel Cairo.
Just like that, just play good, sound, fundamental baseball. Let them throw the ball around, put you in scoring position, and then there's many ways you can score without the benefit of a hit.
What a terrific piece of work by Cairo, and now J.D. Drew stands in. Still only one out. Morris is at first. And Escobar looks like a different pitcher here in the 5th inning.
You know where J.D. hit that ball a couple weeks ago? 514 feet.
Yes.
Edmonds today in batting practice hit one above the video board into the upper deck.
Wow. A strike to make it 1-1 as the mist picks up a little bit. Boy, if these emails are any indication, there's going to be a lot said about Sammy Sosa and the corked bat. If you're just joining us and you don't know about it, Sammy Sosa, from what I understand, had an RBI ground out, shattered the bat. They took the run off the board because cork came out of the bat. They found the cork. They kicked Sosa out of the game, and again took the run off the board. As the Cubs host Tampa Bay, they're in the 5th, 2-0 Devil Rays.
Well, Joe, you know, you just don't know how long he's been using this bat, but now it taints anything that he's
really
done.
Does. I mean, if that's fair, if that's unfair, I don't know, but how can you avoid that? 3 balls and a strike on Drew. So you got Drew up now and Pujols on deck. On 3-1. 2 on with 1 out. Second walk of the inning. What's on tap brought to you by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. We'll have all 3 of these games against Toronto on Fox Sports Net tomorrow, 6:30, with the award-winning Cardinals tonight. Blue Jays and Cards, and if you haven't paid attention, and I'll be honest, I haven't, you look at Corey Lytle, former Met and Oakland Athletic.
8 games.
8-3 pitching for Toronto. His ERA is 4.2. Take on Simon Tachi, who is coming off that complete game victory, a record of 2-3. It's 2 on with 1 out. And Albert Pujols could give the Cards a jolt here in the 5th inning. And Escobar's been behind just about every hitter, and there's action for the Blue Jays now in their bullpen. The left-hander getting ready. Douglas Davis. Doug Davis.
Another household name.
2 on for Albert. And Escobar can't buy a strike now.
He was nice and relaxed earlier. Now he's trying to muscle it up there, trying to overthrow. Wears his hat so low so he doesn't need windshield wipers.
Ahead in the count. Here's a guy hitting .580. That's amazing. He's 2-0 here. Up the middle. Diving stop, and the out turned in by Woodward. A fantastic play to not only keep it on the infield and keep a run off the board, but then to get the second out of the inning. That was fantastic.
Really was. JD is coming down there, but here your shortstop dives for the ball. It'll flip backwards to his second baseman covering, and it appeared like it was going up. It just didn't get a lot of the bat, the good part of the wood on it, and a flip right there and a nifty play.
What a lift that is for Escobar. He was about on his way out of this game. Made 9 errors, showed good range there. Made an error tonight. And now it's up to Edmonds with runners at the corners and 2 out as the mist stops. And Edmonds, who flied to center his last time up, has his average at .288. Oh, big rip, strike 1.
I said, I've seen you a few times in the 9th inning. And wide stance, leans back and try to give it a rip, and just got a piece of it, but not enough of it.
Sure, that swing caught the attention of Escobar. And a chopper to the second baseman. Hudson flips it for the out. The Cardinals come up with 4. And it was the bottom part of the order that got it going. Matt Morris will head back to work. 6th inning. Big at bat and RBI by Tino Martinez. Great at bat by Cairo in the inning. The Cardinals lead by 2.
Of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's got 3 new ultimate salads: Asian chicken, Southwest chicken, and chicken club. And by Kia Motors. 7 cars, 1 belief, Kia. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Well, Al, they always talk about that 6th inning as being a hump inning. You get over the hump, you start getting into the late innings, and now Matt Morris has a 2-run lead. His good bunt was a part of the 4-run uprising against Escobar. And it's going to be made even more difficult in the 6th with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for Toronto. That starts with Catalanato. And ball 1.
Well, let's see if he doesn't rise to the occasion. Catalano had a base hit and RBI. His 2nd time up.
Breaking ball drops in for a strike.
At times these guys will go up there looking for that first fastball they see.
There's another good one. Strike 2.
So first fastball was wide, then 2 breaking balls that are called. If he can throw 3 in a row. Back to the fastball.
He's worked that fastball inside on a lot of these left-handed hitters. It's caught my attention. The count's still 1 and 2.
Fastball in. Didn't want the curveball.
And a line drive into left center field for a hit. Catalanato can hit. Stepped in there hitting .327, and now it's Vernon Wells with their big guy Delgado coming up.
You see Renteria skying for the ball, but couldn't get up there, and he got up there pretty good ways. But remember, Morris shook off the curveball. You don't want to get into a pattern, but it really looked like Catalanato was looking dead red the whole way. Took the first one, took 2 breaking balls for strikes, fouled off one inside, and then he came back with another one and he hit it up the middle. Good piece of hitting.
Here's Vernon Wells with a runner at first, tying run at the plate. And a fly ball to center. Edmonds came in, now goes back, and it's over his head. A mistake by Edmonds. Catalanato is going to come all the way around and score, and it's a 1-run game. It's a double, but Jim Edmonds came in and he was a dead duck. Couldn't get back, and the tying run's at second with nobody out.
And it looks like Wells may have hurt himself, but Jimmy knows he made a fateful mistake. That was the 55th RBI by Vernon Wells. Another high fastball, so that's what they're doing. They're looking for it. It came in, and then he could not recover, and you just wonder if Jimmy's taking his offense out to the field. He normally never ever does that, but that line drive right at you is the toughest for an outfielder to figure up, and no one feels worse than Jim right now. There you see they're looking at the ankle of Vernon Wells. Watch him around the first base bag. I guess when he slipped there at the top of the bag, you know, he thought he was going to step on the middle of it and may have just glanced on it.
So now here's Delgado, who's driven in 57 runs, those slick bases, and we've seen Pujols turn an ankle, and now Wells his right ankle, a single, an RBI double. And here's Delgado, and there's strike 1. Of all the guys in this lineup, Morris has come right after Delgado every time he's faced him.
You know what? You know what that tells me? That he only knows Delgado in this lineup.
Reaching for it, and a little fly ball to center. So Delgado is hitless tonight. He's not in on the Toronto hitting fund. They've banged out 7 hits against Morris. 1 out, and that's a big out. He does not advance the runner.
Yeah, and you know what I mean is that, you know, you're not that familiar with teams from the other league, but everyone knows Delgado, the major league RBI leader, so you get pumped up for him. But it would stand to reason why Clark and Woodward, guys who got the first hits off him, why they've had some free swings, because he's not as engrossed in them, not knowing them.
Well, you should know Myers. He's been around American League, National League. He's been playing for a long time. He's hitting .350 with 6 home runs. A great piece of work tonight by our crew, working on a nasty evening in St. Louis. Hard to believe. 3rd of June, temperature in the 50s, a mist. It's ugly. 4-3, the Cardinals lead. Runner at second, 1 out, and a gift from the home plate umpire to make it 0-2 on Myers.
I thought we were playing this game in Exhibition Stadium in Toronto.
Boy, it's got a chill, there's no doubt. 16th season for Myers. Thanks for the help from the truck. 78 career home runs. 1-2. Susan and Greg from St. Louis send an email, and I'll get to that after Myers does something here with a 1-ball 2-strike count. Breaking ball should be the second out. Over to third goes Wells. 2 out. And the hitter will be Hudson. Says Greg and I are going to see the Cardinals play in New York next week. We're sitting in the bleachers. Any advice for Cardinals fans sitting in the Bronx and a sea of Yankees fans in the bleachers? I was thinking about rooting for the Yankees. Greg is going in full Cardinals red. Greg, that's the Bronx, my man. Good luck.
Yes.
They don't play around in the Bronx. They're in on the corners of the infield, and a breaking ball's in for a strike to Orlando Hudson.
I remember in '78 during the playoffs against the Yankees. Was with Kansas City at the time. They had some undercover Kansas City police officers that traveled with the ball club, and particularly the wives, during the game, and said, do not make any notations that would make anyone believe you're part of the Cardinal or the Royals family.
Here's a bad break, an 0-2 pitch, a fastball, and Hudson singles it into left to make it a 4-4 game. 2 curveballs. Hudson didn't have a chance. Morris made a fastball too good on 0-2 and pays a dear price.
Well, it's what we're saying. They're looking for his fastball, and look, you see they wanted it up and away, and look what Matheny's glove. Right back over to the middle of the plate.
Here's Howie Clark. 2-run lead is gone. 8 hits tonight for Toronto. And you can see why they've won 9 of 11. They can hit. Pitch selection has left a lot to be desired here in this inning by Morris.
Well, I think that, you know, he hasn't executed his fastball in locations he's wanted, and they're going up there just looking for purely the fastball. Not bad, because you can't hit his good curve.
There's one on the outside corner for strike 1.
For that pitch, he was talking to himself, and then the batter got tired of waiting, so he stepped out.
There's that breaking ball. They haven't hit that all night.
Well, you know, Joe, if you think about it, you don't have to go up there and even try and swing at it until you get 2 strikes. If he hangs one, you can handle that. But if he throws a good one, if you're looking for it, all you can do is pound it in the ground.
Little flip to let Hudson know he's thinking about him. The Cardinals will have Roland to start it off in the bottom of the 6th. Renteria and Martinez to follow. It's this group. They've got it going in the bottom of the 5th. That lead, 4-2, is gone.
Another fastball.
Boy, they are waiting for that pitch. It's chopped to the second baseman. That fastball in a better spot. And the inning comes to a close. But the Blue Jays come right back with 2. 2 runs on 3 hits. Strand-a-man, they've left 3. Cards back. We're tied at 4. Cash back or 0% financing for 60 months to qualified buyers. Ford in your quality Ford stores. Your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Right back up the chute. Roland hustling and safe with an infield hit to start the 6th. Good play by Orlando Hudson nonetheless.
Well, we may not know a lot about these Toronto Blue Jays and how good they are defensively, but you see they're very talented athletes that can make some nifty plays. Maybe their youth and inexperience will get them into trouble. I thought he was out on the replay, didn't you?
That's the way I just saw it. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll get, here we go. Nope. Looked like it on that first look, like they got him, but
Hudson thought he.
We'll give you another look at it. Either way, he's safe. It's not going to change the call.
Not going to change the call, but here we'll get a good look at it, and he's out. I don't know. What do you think? I thought he had a good shot at it in the naked eye, and then that first replay. You're the expert, Joe.
I think it's splitting hairs. I'll just go with the call.
So we'll go with the call.
1 on, nobody out. Edgar Renteria pops one into shallow right. That ball might drop. It will drop, and Rolen will go to third. First and third, nobody out.
Well, there's two ways to look at the base running. The what he does is the pop up like this. He looks at it and then kind of surveys the situation, and then he takes off. But one thing he does, once he decides to go, just go. And you saw immediately he picks up his third base coach. That's a tough play. You can just put your head down and run blindly, and hopefully it falls in. But I think he did play it absolutely perfect and got himself over to third. He waited for it to fall.
I love watching Rolen play. And we came on the air talking about Tino Martinez and his chance. And he grounds one to the right side. The Cards have regained the lead. In to score is Rolen. Down to second, Renteria. Martinez 2 RBIs tonight, and the Cardinals lead 5-4. Against the AL East, this little 2-week stretch, and a chance for Tino to try to get healthy against some guys he's seen before. And Martinez puts the Cards back out in front.
Well, we've had some offense here, and here's what we're talking about. You get a guy over to third base. It doesn't always have to be an RBI base hit. Ground out, sacrifice fly. The Cardinals have utilized both of them tonight against Escobar.
And now Matheny, who had a good rip for a base hit his last time up for an RBI and later scored a run, will stand in as now a lefty and a righty get loose for the Blue Jays in their pen.
Doug Davis is back up, and Jeff Tam.
So they're going to walk Matheny, which is interesting. They're going to bring Morris to the plate, most likely to bunt. And if the bunt's successful, Cairo might have a chance to drive home 2 with a hit. As ball 2 heads up and away, the intentional pass to Matheny, and Morris will bat. Remember, there's only 1 out in the inning.
Ball almost back over the middle. That's the reason why, if you're the hitter up there, always be paying attention.
Because you know that defense isn't. It's 2 on with 1 out. Morris is coming up. Cards fans, Saturday, June 21. The Cards play the Royals. It's Merrimack Caverns night at the ballpark. You can stop at Merrimack Caverns on your way to Kansas City maybe someday. All fans age 11 and under with a paid admission receive a coupon good for a cave tour and a boat ride at Merrimack Caverns. Also, for every home run the Cardinals hit, kids will receive 1 free scoop of ice cream at Merrimack Caverns upon presenting the coupon. 421-2400 for tickets, or log on to stlcardinals.com as we get a visit from the pitching coach.
Doug Davis, lefty out there. Jeff Tam had been warming up. Gil Patterson, the pitching coach, out to talk to not only Escobar but the entire infield. And you remember how creative Tony is with his pitchers. This could really be an interesting scenario for an American League club.
Well, we've seen Escobar waft back down to earth the last couple of innings after the first 4 just looking unhittable. And we'll see if Tony La Russa wants to get ultra aggressive and let Morris, who has 5 hits this season, swing the bat. They're going to have infielders moving all over the place.
Yeah, they
you know
are.
that.
Showing bunt, but don't always stay with it. That's right. That slug bunt.
And the bunt back to the pitcher. Good bunt. Over to first for the out. Morris advances both runners, and now a hit could mean 2 runs. Sacrifice good 1-4.
Just basically as they come charging in here, pitcher's got to cover this responsibility. They were trying to get the lead man at third, but the bunt was so good, the only play is to first, so both of them advance the scoring position.
I'll say this, of all the at-bats tonight, maybe on each side, one of the best at-bats of the evening belongs to Miguel Cairo, his last time up for a sac fly.
And you know what, Joe? Another thing we haven't talked about with Escobar is the wild pitch.
Second and third, 2 out, and there's Cairo up there hacking strike 1.
Cairo saw a ball up there. One of the things that Mitchell Page tried to tell the guys is this guy throws a lot of fastballs up, so you've got to stay on top of him. But that also
One ball, 1 strike.
I think the splitter there. Here's Mitch.
Well, this could be a big hit if Cairo could drop one in. Renteria's at third, Matheny's at second with 2 out. The Cardinals have regained the lead and an RBI ground out by Tino Martinez. Left side for Woodward. Throw low but out. The inning comes to a close. So Cairo grounds out. The Cardinals get 1. 5-4 as Morris goes back to work the 7th. We go to the 7th inning. Matt Morris will head back to the hill. Our Pennzoil protection play provided us by the man due to lead off, Chris Woodward. Who knows how big of an inning this saved. Ball up the middle by Albert Pujols back in the 5th. Saved 1 run, got an out, and the Cardinals 4-run 5th inning. Then the Blue Jays got 2 to tie in the top of the 6th. The Cardinals regain the lead. Run knocked home by Tino Martinez. It is 5-4, 7th inning, and Morris dealing with the number 8 hitter. Pretty good pitch, called ball 1. It'll be Woodward, then a pinch hitter for Escobar, who's finished after going 6. Ball and a strike. If Escobar is finished, and most likely he is, 6 innings, 5 runs on 6 hits allowed. 1 intentional pass, 3 overall. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Woodward.
Like Dave Berg is going to pinch hit for Escobar there, getting
nice little hop kicked up for Renteria. High throw and safe. E6. He got the easy hop and then took it too easy, and the lead man is on. And Berg will be the pinch hitter.
Well, we've gotten into some careless play of late, and the Cardinals have been beating themselves. Right there, you take a nice little hop, but then he eased the throw over, and that's when the ball will sail on you. So the 7th there by Renteria gives them the leadoff man on base.
The reaction by Morris. Tying run is on, and Berg fouls it out of play. Escobar, Al, struck out 5 in the first 3 innings and then didn't get another one the next 3.
And so everything kind of went south from there. You see Gil Patterson, the pitching coach, going over kind of a game plan, that where they went wrong and what they did right.
Time called at the plate. See if Morris in the 7th inning with a 1-run lead could pitch around an error to start the inning. That is not easy to do. Breaking ball stays up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thanks to Roger Wilkie from Sunset Hills reminding me that Merrimack Caverns is on I-44, and unless you wanted to go the long way, it wouldn't take you to Kansas City.
Right there at the Stanton exit, I believe.
1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Berg flies one into center off the end of the bat. Edmonds coming on, has it. Will throw behind the runner, but back easily is Woodward. 1 out. So Berg is gone. That's a big out. And back to the top, Reed Johnson, and then Catalanato. Best damn sports show, period. They will welcome NHL analyst Don Cherry as he gives his thoughts on the Stanley Cup Finals and the state of the NHL. Bert Blyleven will be there to talk about Clemens going after number 300 and the Hall of Fame election process. And actress Michelle Stafford of The Young and the Restless will give them an update from the Stanley Cup Finals. That's tonight at 11 only on Fox Sports Net. Here's Reed Johnson, and there's ball 1.
He's been playing catch with Renteria today.
Yes, sir, he has. He's popped up. He's grounded out twice to Renteria, once for an RBI, and a good play by the Cardinal shortstop. Good fastball, zips in. Ball and a strike. Got some fans watching from Hermosa Beach. Roach Boys are Cardinal fans, and watching out in California as with 1 on 1 out, the 1-1 pitch too much for Johnson. Strike 2. Hermosa Beach doesn't sound too bad on a night like this. It is a chilly night. Mist. And these fans have sat through it. The 1-2 breaking ball is hit into left for a base hit. 2 on 1 out. That pitch hung just a little. An error and a base hit in the inning, and bad spot for Morris with Catalanato and Wells coming up.
So Matty, as you said, the breaking ball kind of hanging a bit. You can always make an adjustment to that. Dave Duncan will trot out and talk to Matty Moe. Is there going to be some activity in the bullpen?
Kleiner getting loose. 28,907. Are sitting through this chilly evening. 2 on 1 out. Little pep talk from Dave Duncan on Friday. The Cardinals play the Orioles. It's SBC Floppy Cap Night at the ballpark. First 25,000 fans 16 and over with a paid admission receive a Cardinals Floppy Cap courtesy of SBC. Friday, Cards and Orioles, 421-2400 or stlcardinals.com for ticket info. And there are tickets remaining. 2 on, 1 out. Catalanato 2 out of 3 tonight. Takes strike 1.
Now we talked about, there's Steve Klein, who's throwing much better of late. Slider been awfully good, but Catalanato was the one we really talked about, how he's looking nothing but dead red. And now Matt not getting together with Mike Matheny, so took another breaking ball for strike 1.
Fastball, Renteria trying to help Morris. What a play! 2 out. Cairo on the other end. An error to start the inning, and this is a highlight reel play.
Watch him come over here, backhand. He's on his knees and falling down. Throws one to Cairo, who does a nice job acting as a first baseman now on the force out, and a little scoop right there. So nifty play at both ends. Saves the Cardinals. Still have the 5-4 lead, runners at the corners, but an all-important second out.
And it's up to Wells for Toronto with Delgado on deck. The pitch was kind of guided to the plate by Morris. Ball 1.
You see how we're talking about Matty's curveball, you know, is kind of spinning a little bit. There he tried to yank down on it. And you can do that with Mike Matheny behind the plate because he'll block everything.
Tying run at third. Go ahead run at first. Wells is at 12 home runs and driven in 55 runs. Strike 1. Wells with an RBI double his last time up on a ball that Jim Edmonds will tell you he misplayed in center. Cardinals, by the way, are led by Rolen with 45 RBIs. They've got Delgado and Wells, a terrific 3-4 combination in this lineup. 2 balls and a strike, and Wells is getting protection from Delgado, who hits behind him. Morris trying to get Wells and leave Delgado for the 8th and keep a lead. I have a feeling we'll see another curveball or 2 before the end of this inning.
I would think so. Yeah, a lot of times the hitter go up there, and I think Catalanado was one of them. They'll say, if he can throw 3 great curveballs, he's got me. But I'm going to look for that one fastball, and I'm not going to miss it. This guy's going up there hacking. There's the curveball. See, Matt doesn't want it. Another fastball. Matt's checking off several of the curveballs, but you don't want to always get in predictable counts either.
Well, at least put a little extra juice on that and put it up and out of the strike zone, and we'll see if he wants to go back now to the curveball. I would say yes. You can see Tony La Russa muttering about the fastball as he's standing there, turned his head away. Let's see if there's a curveball. Yep, and a pop-up. How about that? First base side, Tino. Inning over, and Matt Morris gets around the error to start the inning. He gets help from Renteria along the way to help him get out of trouble. On this great play, Edgar Renteria. Time to stretch. 5-4 Cardinals. Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with lower fares, and by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. There's Kyle Turley, the new right tackle or left tackle if Orlando Pace doesn't come back to the Rams, and Grant Williams isn't the guy at left tackle. He's already living here in St. Louis, and a nice addition to the Rams team for this upcoming season and beyond. This call to the bullpen brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel. Lefty Doug Davis with Drew, Pujols, and Edmonds coming up, and the Cardinals leading 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th. Former Texas Ranger is Doug Davis, and this is the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes frame, and we congratulate Ron Hunt, today's merchandise prize winner. Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th. Ronald Hunt will qualify for the grand prize drawing of a Hyundai Elantra GT at the end of the season. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer to complete an entry form. 0-2, 2 quick ones on JD Drew. Drew tonight, strikeout, ground out, walk. 1-1.
This is Doug Davis's first relief outing. Been a starter earlier this year with Texas and Toronto.
So they had a former closer start the game and a former starter pitch in the 7th in relief. Strike 1 on the strikeout from Doug Davis, and Pujols will be the hitter. Well, we talked about Hermosa Beach, and just so you know, temperature 65 degrees. It's evening. It's cool. Winds out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour, and it's going to be partly sunny and cool tomorrow.
Let me tell you, it's probably a little misty like this here, right there down at the beach. Fog rolling
You're
in.
a California guy. You know what it's like out there. With 1 out, Pujols would like to shoot 1 out of here. He's hit 15 home runs. Off the hands and foul. 0-2.
Here we got a real young Cardinal fan here, Joe. We want to say get well soon to Lucas Biffert. He's one of our biggest fans at 3 months old, but apparently under the weather a little bit. And so Lucas, get well.
Here's a 0-2 pitch to Pujols with 1 out, nobody on. Albert takes ball 1. So Doug Davis and these Toronto Blue Jays now getting their first look at a guy like Albert Pujols, who his reputation precedes him. Everybody in baseball knows how good he is. 363 average. That's backing out of play.
With all the video equipment that all the ball clubs have now and the resources to show teams videotape of every pitcher, you get a little bit of an idea what they feature and how their mannerisms are on the mound, but it's still nothing like being in the batter's box against them.
And a pretty good swing at that. In case you haven't paid attention lately, Pujols started the day 15 points higher than Sheffield of the Braves. And you see the breakdown of his average, 394 here at home. Has a hit, was robbed of a hit. That play by Woodward up the middle, his last time up. That's a diving play by the third baseman Clark. Wide throw, and we'll see what they call it. Base hit. So another hit for Pujols, and it's 1 on, 1 out.
Albert hustling all the way, and nice play by the third baseman. Comes up with it, but throw was a little bit offline for Clark. If you watch right here, watch as he fields the ball right before, and see he almost overran it. Got him on the heel of the glove. He gets up, slings the ball over there, and that's going to make it sail a little bit. Bounces it over there, but he wasn't quite set.
Wow, that's called a strike.
Seen some wide pitches called by Bill Welke.
Surprising to see Edmonds bunt, and even more surprising that it was called a strike.
Like high and wide. Another breaking ball.
Ball and a strike. Didn't want to see Edmonds bunt anyway.
I want to see him drive one.
Left center field.
Left center field, exactly where I'm talking about. Just to make the guys happy in the truck, the Budweiser sign.
Pujols able to read that. Edmonds tonight is one of the few not in on the fun. In fact, every spot in the lineup's chipped in except Jim, who has grounded out twice and flied out. He's had a couple pretty good swings tonight, but nothing to show for them, and it's a 1-2 count.
Last week dove for that ball and bruised his ribs, and everybody thought he'd be out until maybe tonight at the earliest, but surprised everyone coming back and playing on Saturday and Sunday. Curveball.
And it's 2-2. In-game box score. Good time to see it here in the bottom of the 7th. The Cardinals. Cairo has a sac fly. Pujols, a couple of hits, robbed of a third. He's hitting .366. Renteria. Martinez has 2 RBIs. Matheny an RBI plus an intentional walk. Even Morris reached after a good bunt in that 4-run 5th. Two balls, 2 strikes on the hitter Edmonds. I have a fan who's watching pretty carefully, and it's about Matt Morris when he's pitching. Eric in Shiloh, Illinois, sent us a good email. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Edmonds. Runner at first, 1 out. Cardinals lead by a run, and time called at the plate. He asks you, Al, could Morris be tipping his pitches? It seems the Jays are sitting on the fastball and letting every breaking pitch go. I don't know if he's tipping it,
no.
But that seems to be their approach.
Yeah, it's their approach. It's easy to distinguish when the ball is coming at you. These big leaguers can spot the spin.
Edmonds crunches one into right field. Is it going to carry? Get going ball at the wall. It is gone for a home run. A 2-run home run as Pujols and Edmonds almost collided on the bases, and the Cardinals lead 7-4 in the 7th. Get going, Albert.
Jeff Tam comes in here, and a hanging breaking ball just sneaks over the wall. Boy. And let's watch him as Albert's right there, and now Jim steps on it to make sure.
Man.
Boy, that was a little close there, wasn't it? There's Joe Girardi, who had been up in Peoria on a rehab assignment. Jeff Tam will be coming in.
So it's a call to the bullpen brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel. The Cardinals have their biggest lead of the night thanks to a hanger, a big swing, and a trip around the bases by Jim Edmonds. That had to feel good. Cardinals lead 7-4. For the Cardinals, Morris in the bullpen. Al, it was close at first.
Now watch, Albert comes back here to tag up on the ball, so he's going like this. He hasn't really, now he knows it's a home run, but watch Jim Edmonds on his toes, and now he'll touch it, make sure his teammate had vacated the bag.
Otherwise Edmonds would have been called out. As with 1 out, nobody on, and 2 runs home, Roland deals with Tam. Jeff winless, 2 losses, and an ERA of 5 3/4.
He's got 1 save and 2 opportunities. Left-handed batters batting 182, but righties, well, 354. Doesn't seem like it should be that way, does it?
Nope. And a base hit into left center field for Roland, his 3rd of the night. His average over 300 now as the Cardinals have 3 straight hits.
Tony will tell you, if you bring in my right-handed reliever for a right-handed batter, you better have a better average against them than the lefties.
Now it's Renteria. Ryan Harris, Jackson, Missouri, has sent no less than 28 emails asking, when do you think Edmonds will come out of his slump? Well, hopefully that little wall scraper, as you look at the batting average leaders, these are updated averages in the National League. Hopefully that little wall scraper by Jim Edmonds on that hanging pitch will get him going. 1 on, 1 out, and ball 1 to Renteria.
Sometimes all you need is to change the calendar, flip the page, and you forget about that bad May. Go back to having a June like you did in April.
Rolling at first, 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes on Edgar. 2-0.
Breaking ball. Now just watch how this goes right over the wall.
Oh.
That's when
Just
you
over
want
Johnson's glove and that strike.
You want a little taller right fielder.
1 on, 1 out. 2 balls, no strikes on Renteria, who's hit 6 home runs, driven in 37. Including the game-winning RBIs on Sunday.
No real deviation in their defense.
Scouting report, I'm sure, a little thinner on the Cardinal hitters than what they typically would have on hitters they see in the AL, especially AL East. So they're playing the percentages by playing straight away. On 2 balls and a strike. See if Renteria can get something to hammer. 3-1 with Tino Martinez, who's had a nice night on deck.
Well, looks like he's going to get something to hammer.
Number 3 in the league at 336 waits. Third pitcher of the night for Toronto, Jeff Tam, on 3-1. That's into right field, slicing away from Johnson, and it's going to get behind him. Roland will come all the way around from first and score. Digging for third is Renteria. It's 8-4 Cardinals. He may not be the fastest guy, Al, but the Cardinals don't have a better base runner than Scott Rowland.
You're right that Scotty Rowland has great instincts. Johnson tries to gamble and comes up a loser, but watch Scott Rowland. Sees the ball, he's halfway, and now it gets down and he takes off. Once he starts picking them up and laying them down, he gets around the bases pretty well. And I wouldn't want to be a catcher at the other end.
It's like a tight end coming after you. Here's Tino Martinez now. He could have a 3 RBI night. Infield is in. Gave the Cardinals their lead back last inning with an RBI ground out. See if Tino can make it a nice one. Runner at third, Renteria, 1 out. RBI triple by the Cardinal shortstop.
Now Tino, he's turned the page. He had a much needed visit with his family down in Florida.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Saw him in the locker room. I said, yeah, I knew I was going to win that bet. He said, what are you talking about? I said, I bet you're coming back. He just smiled. He needed to go home for a while. You know, he's got his kids are all in school, and he's still got a couple weeks. Won't be until we come off the road trip before they get here for the summertime in St. Louis. So a game like this will help out.
Be a nice capper if he could deliver that run. That'll get out of play. Klein getting loose, and now with a 4-run lead, maybe a 5-run lead by the end of the inning. The Cardinals might not want to push Morris anymore.
And you know, Joe, it's you have to trust your bullpen, even though many times people have maligned it. But in a game like this, you save Matty an inning or 2. I think it's something you have to do.
Well, if you can't trust him with a 4 or 5-run lead in the 8th inning, you're finished.
Well,
you can't have these starters. And I know, and I'm going to get 100 emails by saying these guys are paid to start and try to finish what they start and throw 120 pitches, but they're going to be nice.
Not anymore, they don't.
A lot of these guys aren't conditioned for it, and on a night like this, you do have to use the bullpen. On 1 and 2, Martinez with a big night. RBI base hit to make it 9-4 in the 7th. 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and a run scored tonight for Tino Martinez.
Edgar right in the thick of things, so Scott Rowland, but 3 RBIs. Excuse me, two hits and 3 RBIs.
Sound like me from an earlier homestand.
Going down and getting this ball, rifling it right back through the box. Tino needs that more than anybody on this ball club. And Tony La Russa's saying, I've been telling you.
Well, it would sure be nice to get his bat going regularly, and he's on at first with 1 out. Matheny stands in. And a clunker. That'll get Martinez to second. Good play by Clark, the third baseman, to get the out at first. And Morris, his night is finished. Orlando Palmeiro will come off the bench and bat for Matt Morris, who will leave after going 7 tonight. And he'll leave with, at the moment, a 5-run lead. His teammates will go congratulate him, and Orlando Palmeiro will try to add another run to it.
Matt, did your job. You throw 7 innings. Many times the only thing you do in that 8th and 9th is do damage. So Steve Klein will take over. And when your starter gives you 7 innings, things normally fall right into place with your bullpen.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Again, we came on talking Al about this opportunity against the AL East. A lot of pitchers that he's seen over the past 5 or 6 years. To get a chance to try to get something going offensively, and tonight's a good start. Palmeiro takes the ball.
And you know, Joe, Morris threw 109 pitches, so I mean that's over his average per start.
Palmeiro tests Woodward, the shortstop, and Chris is good enough to end the inning. For the Cardinals, who got 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, get 4 more in the 7th. Good hitting, good base running tonight, and the Cardinals lead at 9-4. To the family arriving at the game in their Ford Windstar, now with $3,000 cash back or 0% financing for 60 months. Ford and Equality Ford stores, your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Call to the bullpen, brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel, and hopefully Steve Klein now can keep building and building and building and get back to a weapon for the Cards in the pen.
Well, his slider has become much sharper of late, and even with the problems he's had, opponents are only batting .220 against him, and lefties are worse than that. He's a limited opposing left-handed batters to a 160 average, 4 for 25 with no home runs, winning back the trust of his manager.
So Delgado, who was held in check by Matt Morris tonight, 0 for 3, will lead it off. Cardinals come into this series with Toronto 42 and 43 overall in interleague play. There's out number 1 if Pujols can find it. Delgado 0 for 4. Steve Klein is battling a cold, Al. He's not feeling all that great, but his presence and demeanor on the mound is a lot different.
Well, you know, there's a bunch of us battling colds right now, but you know what? That's sometimes when you're not feeling 100%, you concentrate all the more on execution, and that's what Dave Duncan's all about. You know, I give you the information to allow you to execute. That's what Woody Williams makes him so good, that he perfects that game plan.
This is Tom Wilson off the bench to bat for the catcher Greg Myers. Wilson's hitting .309. Everybody they have is at .300 or better, it seems.
He is their other catcher.
So he'll go in and take over behind the plate.
Toronto last year, where he had 257, 8 home runs, 37 RBIs. Was it?
Get an email from David Martin of Columbia, Missouri. Read it after this 2-1 pitch. Three balls and a strike. David writes, I'd like to express my heartfelt thanks to Steve Klein. On Sunday, I took my 7-year-old daughter to her first ball game. It was a moment I'll never forget, her smiling face when she came back with Steve's autograph. Thank you, Steve, for proving to her what I already knew. Cardinal players are the best. That's a 1-out walk, 1 on, 1 out. And it would surprise nobody attached to the ball club to know that Steve Klein was signing autographs. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Dave Duncan to the phone as we tell you Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Thank you. 2 out. Orlando Hudson says, you gotta be kidding me.
Hudson, the switch hitter. There's weaker side, but let's look at Wilson out there as secondary lead, but not too far, able to get back on the line drive. First thing that John Gibbons tells that runner at first base is don't get double up on a liner.
Especially to the left side as Esteban Yan gets loose for the Cardinals. That's who Duncan wanted to get going, and Mike Bordick, a longtime Baltimore Oriole, Oakland Athletic, played for Tony La Russa out in the Bay Area, stands in and takes a strike. Batting for Howie Clark.
Tony will tell you about this slick fielding shortstop. Bordick entered 2003, the second highest fielding percentage of all time among shortstops with 1,000 or more chances.
And a pop-up should end the top of the 8th. He practices these days, these plays every day during infield practice. And Mike Matheny gets that chance to stand near home plate and haul down a pop-up. Good scoreless inning by Steve Klein. He's not even yelling at himself coming off the mound. It's still 9-4. Coming up right after this game, the Midwest Sports Report. All the highlights from around interleague play, including the Orioles and Astros, plus Jason Isringhausen's road to recovery continued this afternoon. Howdy do. Don't miss Tony La Russa's live post-game comments and a complete wrap from us. That's all coming up after the game on the Midwest Sports Report. Bottom of the 8th. Tam is finished. Pete Walker, a right-hander, will pop out of that bullpen. And the Cardinals lead by 5. Top of the order for the Cardinals, Cairo Drew and Albert Pujols. Home run by Edmonds tonight. The only home run of the night. Tino Martinez, the hitting star for the Cardinals, with 3 RBIs and 3 separate at-bats. 3 consecutive innings as Cairo takes strike 1 from Pete Walker.
See his numbers here. He had been with the Mets, and then also was 10-5 a year ago for Toronto, splitting time between the rotation and bullpen. And there you see his new battery mate, Wilson, in pinch hit. Bordick is now over third.
We're getting all kinds of suggestions via email for promotional nights when the Cubs come to town. That's into right center and caught by Reed Johnson. Cairo, Al may end the night hitless. Does have an RBI. Had some good at bats tonight. And J.D. Drew will be the hitter. Amanda from Blytheville, Arkansas, wonders if Sammy Sosa's bat should be on David Letterman's Will It Float segment. Will it float? Yes or no? Filled with cork? I'm going to go with yes. Also, I was thinking maybe Mount Pleasant Winery and Herman could sponsor a night here at the ballpark when the Cubs come to town, as Drew gets a base hit through the right side. 1 on, 1 out. JD, his first hit of the night. Come on, send him in. Send him in.
JD gets that full extension out there. No wasted movement, not out in front on it. Just hit that ball nice and well balanced.
Dun, 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 dun. It's your birthday. There you go, Jerry Hollis in Bernie, Missouri. And now we'll see if the Cardinals want to use a pinch runner. Maybe that's why we're waiting here, is they're going to get Drew off the bases and maybe save those legs for tomorrow night.
And trying to get him back to the position where maybe he can play 2 of every 3, 5 or 6 games a week.
Who could they be looking for on that bench?
How about Kerry Robinson?
How about So Taguchi? Kerry Robinson is back and active.
Yeah, that's right. Crudale was sent out, but this is So Taguchi.
So Drew leaves with a hit tonight in 4 trips plus a walk. That Cardinal bench is probably right now requiring some attention from Walt Jocketty as he tries to find some. Wow. Can't hit it any harder than that. That thing just kept diving away from Woodward's glove, and Albert Pujols is 3 out of 5, pushing 370. I mean, that thing is just, that ball has got a dent in it.
Well, Woodward's glad it didn't hit him. He dives for that ball, and I'm not too sure. He looked like he was pretty quick, but over that ball, and it was by him.
370 is his average for the man who possesses this stroke.
So everything comes together. It's the point of contact.
And everything comes together in this Cardinal lineup. This is, wow. Walker, hopefully he's all right. I don't know if his spike caught, if he's injured or what, but Walker let a wild pitch go, and it's second and third, one out. That's scary.
Everybody out to check on him, and I think it's like you said, the spike, you know, where it's, I think it's more the leg than it is the arm or anything, but watch it here.
Yep.
Yeah, he missed his landing foot. And now Pujols is going to be pinch run for with the famous Kerry Robinson.
The aforementioned Kerry Robinson.
And famous.
Famous in the sense of just being Kerry Robinson?
Being Kerry Robinson.
Okay.
K-Rob. St. Louis.
Pujols gets a nice hand as he heads off and acknowledges the crowd as Robinson stretches out. But to talk about this lineup, Al, when you've got Pujols, now you got Tino Martinez with a big night. Renteria's third in the league in hitting. Rollins at 300 now. Edmonds, you hope you get him going, and Walker's going to have to exit here after catching the spikes on his left shoe. And Carlos Tosca is going to go back to the bullpen, and whoever comes out is going to have as long as they need to get ready. So an injury. And hopefully Walker will be okay. We'll see who pops out of that bullpen. It's a lefty, a left-hander. 9-4, bottom of the 8th, a chance for more. Healthcare Kids Cap Day is coming up July 3rd. Thursday, July 3rd against San Francisco. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission get a specially designed youth-sized baseball cap. Thursday, July 3rd, Cards and Giants. Call 421-2400 or log on to stlcardinals.com for ticket information. Trevor Miller is on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Appearing for the 30th time, left-handed specialist here. Originally, he was selected by the Detroit Tigers in the first round of '91. So you know he had to eventually go to Houston, didn't he?
Had to.
He was part of the traded to Houston along with Brad Osmus, Jose Lima, C.J. Nikowski, and Darrell Ward in exchange for Roquel, Brian Hunter, Todd Jones, Orlando Miller in cash considerations. Traded to Philadelphia, claimed on waivers by the Dodgers, signed by Boston, signed by Cincinnati Reds, signed by the Toronto Blue Jays.
He's bounced around, as have a lot of the members of this Toronto bullpen. In the World Series, home field advantage means everything. Now, for the first time ever, baseball's best square off to determine which league gets home field advantage come October. Major League Baseball's 74th All-Star Game as the brightest stars gather, but this time it's more than just bragging rights. This time it counts. The 2003 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 15, only on Fox. And then this Saturday, don't forget the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. It'll be the Yankees and the Cubs, with the Yankees playing at Wrigley Field for the first time since 1938, and Roger Clemens with his third attempt and trying to pick up career win number 300. Isringhausen, how was the reaction after his latest side session today, or on the mound session today?
Well, I think he's all set for Thursday to make go through his minor league rehab. They wanted to send him out and make that first minor league appearance today, but they want to do it at one of the home sites, and everyone was on the road, so he'll go visit DJ. Mark DeJean and throw for the Tennessee team, and then I think when we start our next road trip, he'll accompany us.
Jim Edmonds at the plate. Last time up. Hanger. High fly ball for a home run. And then Pujols gave him a piggyback ride to the plate.
He'll be trying to make up for lost time. Trying to hit with 2 men on, trying to hit a 7-run home run.
Infield is in. After that last swing, they'll take a half step back.
Yes, they will.
9-4. Best speed on the team on the bases. Taguchi and Kerry Robinson, and Edmonds is in the hole with 2 strikes. Remember the first pitch from Walker was a ball where he caught his spikes. Kerry Robinson's halfway to third base.
Well, yeah, he can get there because that's the shortstop right in front of him. Second baseman's playing way in. He can't get back to the bag.
2-2 on Edmonds.
Talking about the All-Star game, Edmonds and Pujols, believe it or not, I think are 5th and 6th, or somewhere in that vicinity, maybe 4th and 5th. Renteria and Roland are leading at their positions respectively.
Well, you can mark Pujols down.
Wait, yeah, especially after the injustice last year.
The 2-2. Edmonds strikes out for the second out. Roland will be the hitter. Good work by Miller to come in and get the lefty Edmonds, and Roland will step in second and third, 2 out. Joe Maxfield of Decatur wants all the Cooperstown Sosa bats X-ray.
Every one of them.
And he says check bonds while you're at it. They're going to walk Roland to pitch to Renteria. So, I mean, what are you going to... You could go either way here, and the Blue Jays would rather pitch to Renteria. Now here's one. I don't even know what it says. But I like the title. Good, I like it. Matt Teague says Chris Kattan should throw out the first pitch on Corky Romano Day at Wrigley Field. Good, people. That's what I'm talking about. That was a movie starring Chris Kattan. Here's Renteria with the bases loaded, 2 out. Good, Matt.
About that average with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Don't get much better than that.
Two slams for Renteria in his career. Cards already lead by 5. Good shutout inning from Klein after Morris went 7. Trying to march his way to his 7th win of the season.
Edgar's already had his National League best 26 multi-hit game tonight. 4th in the National League with 388 home batting average.
Into center field. Renteria foils that effort by the Blue Jays. 2 more runs. 11-4, and Renteria delivers again. When will they learn now?
Maybe never. 40 RBIs now, 3 on the night, his 3rd hit of the night. And here he takes off. Base hit there. So Taguchi, look at this, always thinking, picking up the bat, stepping on home plate, giving a clear way for K-Rob.
Now 2 on 2 out for Tino Martinez. 2 hits, 3 RBIs, strike 1 from Miller. Brad Malden from St. Charles says Sammy apparently corked his bat because before the games he likes to please the fans during batting practice, and when he went up to bat tonight he grabbed the wrong bat.
Oh, well, we should reinstate him.
Martinez, strike 2.
You know, those Cub fans always find a silver lining in every dark cloud, don't they? Reinstate him. He didn't mean to, Joe.
Didn't mean to do it. Officer, I swear I never speed. This was the one time. Ball 1 outside to Martinez.
Tino up there cranking, trying to get it gripped, and then try and squeeze it, and then you try and get soft. Everything to try and get comfortable.
On the outside corner, and Tino says, I got a good night going here, in case you didn't notice. Home plate umpire Bill Welke says that'll be enough. And it is enough, and I know why Tino Martinez didn't like the call. Let's go to the ninth, 11-4 Cardinals. Baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer, an easy drinking Bush Light. Esteban Yan is the new pitcher for the Cardinals. Had an important strikeout in the win on Sunday. Chris Woodward is first up. These guys are familiar with Esteban Yan, a previous American leaguer, as he deals strike one. Mike Matheny much more impressed the last two times out than the first, when Esteban Yan was just chucking it to the plate. And as you pointed out, Al, I don't think a lot of people realized he hadn't pitched in 2 weeks before he got on the mound that night, his first day with the Cardinals. Robinson is in the game in left, and Taguchi's in right.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, and I think he had been used somewhat sparingly prior to that time too. 2-2 record, 7 saves in 30 previous games against Toronto.
He didn't go. At least so says Kerwin Danley, and I now know that Merrimack Caverns, even though I knew before, is on I-44, and I'm now finding out from one email after another that Mount Pleasant Winery is not in Herman but in Augusta. Here's a 2-2 to the right side. Tino Martinez, Esteban Yan, Rob King. Rob King. Has anybody seen Rob King? What's coming up on the Midwest Sports Report, Rob?
Coming up next in the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, we'll have complete post-game coverage of the Cards and Blue Jays, an update on day one of the Cards draft, and you'll hear from new Illini Hoops coach Bruce Weber. That's all after the game. Now back to Joe and Al. Guys?
Thank you, Rob. Here is Josh Phelps off the bench to bat for the pitcher Miller. 93 piece from Esteban Yan. Good zip. It's been a while since the Cardinals, and more importantly you, their fans, and us, their broadcasters, can relax in the last couple of innings.
I think Tony expects this type of offense. Not always going to get 11 runs, but double digits hits.
Whoa. That got away from Yan and came up and drilled Phelps. Second time he's hit a batter since putting on the Cardinal uniform.
Well, National League, they play tougher rules here. Quick learner. Digits.
Little elbow music.
First pitch he threw as a National Leaguer, he drilled a guy.
Runner at first, one out. Reed Johnson, top of the order for the Blue Jays. Ball one.
And a pitch on the black, he doesn't get called.
Scoreless inning from Klein tonight. 7 strong from Morris. 1 ball, 1 strike from Yan.
Tampa Bay still leads Chicago 2-1. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning.
That is drilled into left center field. Robinson over to cut it off. Phelps will go to third. First and third, 1 out. Hit batsman followed by the base hit, and Catalanato will be the hitter. Our play of the game brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser, and after committing an error to start the inning, with runners on at first and second, this for the second out of the inning from Edgar Renteria, and just as good from Cairo on the other end.
Nifty play, and you forget about when it's 11-4 game, all the good plays and tight plays earlier in the game.
Yeah, you're right, because at that point it was a 5-4 score, and that was a play made back in the 7th inning. That ball gets through, it's a tie game.
Cardinals scored all 11 runs from the 5th inning.
Catalanano, not much of a swipe at that. Kerry Robinson with that great speed. It's a sac fly, but more importantly, the second out of the inning on a fantastic running catch by Robinson. Boy, he went a long way.
Well, remember, off the bat of a lefty, he's going to keep on slicing away from him, come close to that wall, so he slides. That stops his momentum and keeps him from running into the side wall. So a very, very good play right there. Second RBI for Catalanano.
And now the Blue Jays are left with Vernon Wells at the plate, runner at first. Cardinals don't hold against Reed Johnson, so he'll take second, and Matheny a little backhanded pickup. Fielder's indifference. Runner at second, 2 out. Vernon Wells at the plate, trying to at least get Carlos Delgado to the plate. He's on deck, and Jan wants to make sure with a runner at second now that he and Matheny are on the same page. That's what one of the websites is reporting, Al, that Sammy is claiming that he got the wrong bat. That's the story that's out there now, that Sosa
that's great.
corks his bat for batting practice, for home run exhibitions, and he just grabbed the wrong bat. That is the story that's out there.
I think there's a bunch of defense attorneys are going to be talking. I meant to get the water gun.
Yeah, well,
not the .357 Magnum.
Runner at second, 2 out, 2 balls, no strikes, and Tony La Russa is on the phone to the bullpen. Calero is getting loose. Rolling. One left. Wow. Come on. What a play. What a play to end the night by Roland. And the Cardinals win the first interleague game of the season, 11-5. A well-earned win tonight. This game had a little bit of everything, including terrific defensive plays, and you can line up as many third basemen in the big leagues as you want, and I don't know of anybody who makes that play other than Roland. Final score tonight, 11-5. Midwest Sports Report coming up. Let's go to the studio.